Yes, Sakshi, you can start.
The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. With this, a very cheerful evening to all the parliamentarians present in the meeting today. Let us begin with the second day of the National Youth Parliament budget session. First of all, I would like to call upon the Consumer Affairs and Food Distribution Minister in the Treasury bench, Arsh Chadha, and his team.
Yes, thank you. So should I start with my speech?
Sure.
Food and Consumer Affairs. The Department of Food and Consumers and Public Distribution is responsible for management of food economy of the nation. It undertakes various activities such as procurement of food items, their storage, movement, and delivery to the distributing agencies. This section provides the requisite information pertaining to the central, state government departments and various other institutions handling the public distribution system. AAY or Antyodaya Ann Yojana. AAY was a step in the direction of making TPDS aim at reducing hunger among the poorest segment of the BPL population. A national sample survey exercise pointed towards the fact that about 5% of the total population in the country sleeps without 2 square meals a day. This
Excuse me, Ash, just a moment. Ash, can you switch on your camera? And
Yes,
are
ma'am.
you presenting your screen? We are not able to see your screen.
Okay. Just a minute. I request my other team members to please switch on the camera too. So should I start over again or from the initial part?
You can continue.
Okay, thank you. AAY was launched in December 2000 for 1 crore poorest of the poor families. AAY involved identification of 1 crore poorest of the poor families from amongst the number of BPL families covered under TPDS within the states and providing them food grains at highly subsidized rate of rupees 2 per kg and wheat for rupees 3 per kg for rice. The state/UTs were required to bear the distribution cost, including margin to dealers and retailers, as well as the transportation cost. Thus, the entire food subsidy was passed on to consumer under the scheme. The scale of issue was initially 25 kg per month was increased to 35 kg per family per month with effect from 1st April 2000. 2. The AAY scheme has since expanded to cover 2.50 crore poorest of the poor households as follows. The AAY scheme has expanded in 2003 to 2004 by adding another 50 lakh BPL households heading by windows or terminally ill persons or disabled persons or persons aged 60 years or above with no assured means of subsistence or societal support. Order to this effect was issued on 3rd June 2003. With this increase, 1.5 crore, that is 23% of BPL families were covered under the AAY. As announced in the Union Budget 2004 to 5, the AAY was further expanded by another 50 lakh BPL families by including
Hello. When am I supposed to ask my questions?
All households at the risk of hunger. Order to this effect was issued on 3rd August 2004. In order to identify these households, the guidelines stipulated that the following criteria are landless agriculture laborers, marginal farmers, rural artisans, craftsmen such as potters, tanners, weavers, blacksmiths, carpenters, slum dwellers, and person earning their livelihood on daily basis in the informal sector like potters, coolies, rickshaw pullers, hand cart pullers, fruit and flowers sellers, snake charmers, rag pickers, cobblers, destitute and other similar categories in both rural and urban areas. B. Household headed by widows or terminally ill person, disabled person, person aged 60 years or more with no assured means of subsistence or societal support. C. Widows or terminally ill persons or disabled. I think this is repeated. All primitive tribal households. As announced. As announced in the Union Budget 2005 to 6, AAY was expanded to cover another 50 lakh BPL households, thus increasing its cover from 2.5%, that is 38% of the BPL. Order to this effect was issued on 12th May 2005. Thank you. Now I would like to invite RF to join the conversation.
Only 45 seconds are left for your team.
Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. In a major relief to the poor amid and devastating COVID-19 pandemic, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced on Monday that the government has extended a scheme to distribute wheat and rice free of cost to around 80 crore people till November. Earlier in April this year, the centre had announced distribution of free food grains for the months of May and June under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana to help people during the second wave of the pandemic. After the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic last year in March, the PMJKAY scheme was launched to...
Sorry for interrupting. Thank you, Ministry of Consumer Affairs and Food Distribution, for your presentation. Now I would like to ask the opposition, Shrishti Senani, to kindly come up with the questions.
Yes, we had several questions. My first question is, in your AAY scheme, why is there still 16.3% population still unnourished due to these efforts?
I think India has a world's largest population in the year 2023, and this is going to increase. So it is not possible for a government with this deficit on budget to provide.
It is your duty and your main objective to feed the population of India.
But I think we are doing the best towards it, and also this would be provided by at least 230 when the country would be budget, when the budget of the country would be less than its GDP.
And now I would like to ask that with no funds in this year's budget, it means the end of another flagship this year. And why is there a PSF scheme for farmers not there in this budget?
Can you repeat your question? I think
my question is, with no funds this year's budget, it means end of another flagship. Why is there no scheme for farmers such as PSF, which started in 2003? Why it is ending again? It has been another blow of distress to farmers as well.
I think some policies need to be changed and new ones are coming up, like the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana and the Price Stabilization Fund.
But what is there for farmers? Like, there is nothing for farmers in your this year's budget, and it is decreased by 85%.
Under AAY, we are providing the farmers under BPL to the food necessities. I have mentioned it.
But there are no funds for farmers. You are saying you will provide the population the food, but what about farmers who grow the crops? Why is there no justice for them?
In the Price Stabilization Fund, its main mission is to control the price of perishable agri-horticultural commodities. So that is something that supports the farmers. It supports direct purchase from farmers and farmers associations. It maintains a strategic buffer stock that would discourage hoarding and unscrupulous speculation.
Why budget has failed to earmark funds for horticulture crops? Like, as you are saying, there is something in this budget, but why not? Why is there nothing for horticulture crops and there is nothing for food security? And that too, your budget had decreased by 85%. Do you have any reasons?
I think the government, which is providing MSP at almost all the crops to the farmers to support them, I think that's enough for them, as the price it is already subsidized, which we get which we give to the farmers.
Last year you marked 1,500 crore, but it also remained unspent. Is this year we are predicting the same from your ministry?
Of course, not you are predicting that, but we are trying to improve and reach the core of our countries.
Okay, that answers my question, but I would like my team members to ask another question to you.
Yes, you may continue.
Only 1 minute is left for the opposition to ask the questions.
I
So,
will- Yes, please speak.
so as we know that PDS is a big deal in supplying food grains to the poorer strata of the country, but a report done by the Food Corporation of India in 2021 shows that the actual stock was carrying more food grains than said by the buffer norm. So because of this, tons of food grains go wasted. What's the solution to this? And also because of the MSP, the farmers are more attracted to grow wheat and rice instead of other coarse grains.
Wheat and rice are the staple diet of almost all the people in India. So the farmers tend to look for the profit instead of growing the crops that land them no profit.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but in 2021, the wheat procurement, the wheat budget was 36%, but now it's only remained 20%. And how you are saying that it is a staple diet? I agree, it is a staple diet, but why we are seeing a decrease in the production of crops, as you are saying?
So that's good for our country, as we're diversifying our crops and trying to export more crops than importing crops. Like we import crops like millets and which do not grow our country in the required quantities.
Thank you both the teams for your wonderful presentation. Democracy can only be measured on the existence of an opposition. So I would like to thank the opposition for the wonderful questions. Now, welcoming the next team, I would like to call upon the Ministry of Defense, Diptesh Parida, to kindly come upon with the presentation.
Diptesh and team members, any of the team member is there from Diptesh? Diptesh is not here. Any of the team member?